G'day folks, this is one of my pomegranate trees that is now developing some fruit on it. Now a lot of you would say it's a little bit late, but up here in Ballarat we're roughly about 6 weeks behind in terms of fruit and vegetables development than Melbourne is. So I'm hoping that there's enough heat and sunlight to ripen these before the end of the season, but I'm quite impressed with what I'm seeing so far. And this is the third year in the ground, and like I said, all these pomegranates that I planted were propagated from cuttings, and to see them come to fruit is an awesome sight. Lovely flowers, and as I said, we've got a couple of fruit formations that are occurring, and as you can see through the midst here that there are quite a number of fruits. Over here, I don't know if you remember, I pruned these apricot trees down again like the ones in the fruit fortress, just to encourage the outward growth and get rid of a lot of the internal branches. Apricots are a marvellous tree up here in Ballarat. They seem to just be thriving. So within the 2 weeks you can see they put on about 15 inches of new growth, all going in the direction that I'm hoping that they would, which is the outward direction, and thriving. So here's the other one over here amongst the agapanthus. We'll come from this angle. All right, a bit close I guess, but I might just change it to that. And doing really well, so quite happy, and the trunks are actually getting a lot thicker as well. And pruning them at this time of year helps out with prevention of disease and gummosis and things like that usually occur if you prune in winter. And as you know, that a lot of the fruit grows on this year's growth. So all this new growth here will most likely have flowers and fruit on them next year, rather than pruning them during winter and losing all that fruiting capacity that the tree can provide. Even though I won't allow it to fruit with too many fruits on it, because being a small tree, but maybe to keep a couple just to see what type of fruit they provide. As I said, I purchased 3 Fuji persimmons from Bunnings last week, I think it was, and I decided to plant this one into the garden. It's actually got a couple of fruit on it already. Actually one, there it is there. But from pretty much day one, something either has eaten the leaves, or through a little bit of stress, the leaves have come off in an unusual position. Though they haven't sort of fallen off. They've been sort of almost like cut off or bitten off. I'm not too sure, but I can see that up here that the leaves are reasonably vibrant, and there is a little bit of new growth budding up amongst the ends. But what I'll be doing with this one is again spreading out these vertical growing branches, so it's sort of again growing in a vase shape. Now having a look at the apple trees, the ones on the outside, it's coming to the end of the season. The apples are ripening up quite nicely. This one is a Pixie Crunch, and I quite like the formation of this tree. It's actually spreading outwards, even though it's got a central leader. It's now it's now basically growing outwards horizontally, and it's not going to be a very large tree, but one that um, is a miniature. Over here, as we keep going, I wanted to show you the grafts, and a lot of these are grafted now, all these fruit apple trees along here, and you can see that I am trying to spread it out. I may cut this one about here just to encourage this one to go horizontally, and this one that's quite vertical I might have to cut it about here somewhere to allow this one to go laterally. But at the moment I quite like the denseness of it, just the look of the tree, so I'm just holding out. This one here was pruned quite a bit, and as you can see, a lot of vigorous growth here, and I think all three of these have been grafted. Let me have a no, two branches have been grafted. This one here is grafted, this one's not, this one is, and this one's not. So this will probably be grafted this winter, and this one also, if these grafts don't break off in this horrible wind that we have today. Over here, all three have been grafted and are doing reasonably well, or really well actually. And all I'm doing right now is trying to encourage these branches to spread out rather than going upwards. Now again, I might have to wait till a shoot comes out here somewhere and then prune it off to allow this to continue coming outwards, but it's getting there, from a vertical tree now to one that's sort of starting to spread out. It's quite pleasing. Over here we lost a branch to the wind. As you can see, I've pruned it right down here, so we lost that, but it does have a grafted branch just here. I might take this bit off, and this one is either going to stay. Oh, look, as you can see, the string's already broken on, or the tie is already broken. This one may stay as a Granny Smith. Granny Smith on this side, and the other variety on that side. Over here, when I grafted this one, I believe I grafted it a bit too close, so I may even get this graft off and cut it and let this one grow out. And this one that's growing out this way is doing really well. I'm sort of going to leave some of these to form some new branches, just to get the tree to shape up a little bit, because at the moment I'm struggling with that tree to get the right shape. This one's got a central leader, and I sort of grafted it right on top of the tree. I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but it's doing okay. We'll walk across to the apple espalier. They've sort of stopped growing. I gave them a summer prune not long ago, so that it sort of halted that vigorous upward growth, and I think they're just preparing for winter dormancy, I guess. They didn't spread any new branches or growth from any of the pruning that I had done, which is good. Hopefully those will turn out to be fruiting spurs, and most of those will produce fruit next year. Wow, the wind is very, very strong today. As you can see, another one there. I'm not too sure about these sunflowers. I don't know how long I've got to keep them sort of in the ground. I like to remove them now that they're sort of starting to face downwards. But I'm not too sure. I think this one, oh yeah, the birds may have already started on this one, so this one might have to come out very soon. And I like to keep the seeds for next year, and maybe share a bit of seeds around with friends and family, so they can grow some lovely sunflowers next year. The figs, like I said, up here in Ballarat, it's sort of you can call it a Mediterranean type of climate, but at the same time, the winters are pretty close to being almost alpine, and being 6 weeks behind the temperatures of Melbourne. Like I said, we are 6 weeks behind, and although we had a really good summer this year, and we're having a good summer this year, sometimes the summer is not long enough to ripen these figs, but we're hoping. Okay, we're here adjacent to the driveway with our sheep friends watching. I have pineapple guavas or feijoas growing right along the fence line. I had a closer look recently, and the fruit is definitely developing, although we are, like I said, around 6 weeks late in the season up here. The feijoas will provide around maybe March, April. The apples are still growing really well. This is I think this one is a Golden Delicious. It says Pink Lady, but it's definitely not a Pink Lady. I lost this this feijoa, but it's now shooting back. It was a summertime that I wasn't here to water it, and that one seemed to not like being neglected like that. And these are all the feijoas, as you can see, amongst the apples. And if you have a closer look, you can see the feijoas growing quite nicely. There's an abundance of fruit. In this location in the middle here, we have, I think, a wind tunnel or something, but something seems to come through the driveway like that, through here and opposite. It keeps pounding this feijoa, and it's been pounded again, and as you can see, it's not looking too happy. The feijoas are getting to be almost my size now, and they weren't very big when I planted them, so this is the second year from planting, and again, they seem to have really liked their position. The date palms. With the date palms, although you don't have to water them too much once they're established, I did a bit of an experiment with these ones this year, and I watered this one, that one and that one on a regular basis, and I didn't water the rest. I thought, well, my hose didn't reach, but I thought I'll just keep watering them and just see what difference it makes compared to the other ones that haven't been watered. And I can say, in all honesty, by looking at it, the two that haven't been watered over there are just as vigorous, just as vibrant, and growing just as well as the ones I have been watering. So I'm sort of thinking to myself, maybe there's no need, unless I really need to. These citruses over here, as I said, I planted these about 2 months ago. They're in pots, and I thought just get them in the ground, and when I come back I'll determine what I'll do with them. And even though they haven't been watered and they haven't been looked after, this dry frontage that has full day sun has seemed to be just the thing they wanted, and they've just been growing and growing and growing. Not so much fruit formation, which is great because I know that they're not stressing, but a lot of leaf formation. If we go to this one too, you'll see that this one's also got a lot of growth, and look how dry the ground is here. No mulch, no water, a little bit of rain now and then. We had probably 2 or 3 days of rain in the whole month of January and February, and they seem to really like it. So I'm guessing they're going to stay here now, because originally I was going to pull them out and put them somewhere else. If we walk along here, you'll see that I've got another row of date palms that haven't grown as good as the ones in the centre, and I'm guessing that it is quite dry on this side. There's an old eucalyptus tree that's I think it's dead now. And these old, well, I guess they were shrubs, now they've turned into trees. And you can see the ground is really, really dry. And these 4 date palms, although growing, you can sort of see that they are a little bit yellow. I guess that's for lack of water, and they're a little bit stunted, especially this one. That one maybe a little bit. The one in the house seems to probably getting some moisture from somewhere and is growing a little bit better, but going back to these ones, you can see how much different the sizes are. So maybe I'll need to water these ones rather than those ones over there. I had about 10 or so olive trees that were growing around the property and in pots, and I had some Robina mop tops that were growing here, and basically runners everywhere, and you know, just a mess. So I dug them out and decided that I'd plant the olive trees here. Now I really don't want these to be overly tall and vigorous, so I'm going to allow them to grow this year, but probably before next spring I'm going to give them a really good haircut and tighten them up a little bit so they're not going to overtake this frontage of the house, especially the ones that are closer to the house, like these two here. I couldn't not put a olive tree here and here. I think it would have looked a little bit silly to have 4 and then stop. So I continued it right up to the corner here. But as you can see, it's only about 2 meters away from the house, so I can't really let it grow too vigorously. So I'm going to try to keep it as a compact top puri type of olive tree. Likewise with this one, it's going really well. I have to keep them really pruned and hope for the best that they are a good variety of olive. Alright, walking back to the backyard, you can see that I've got a Phora mandarine that was pretty much in the help me basket at Bunnings, and I purchased it along with the one that was in better condition over there. This one I pruned down a little bit, and it lost most of its leaves, but as you can see, with a little bit of care, all the leaves have come back. There's even some flowers, and it's starting to look really, really nice. So I've put it in the sun to get as much sun as it possibly can, and I'm pretty much watering it every day. And the potting mix that's on there is quite well draining, so you know it does dry out after the second day. So I continue to water that. And the one that I was doing really well is putting on some growth as well, but not as vigorous as the one that's there. Over here, if you can see it, the sun's probably in the way. This fig tree, I was going to give this one away, end up keeping it. It was a stick till about a month ago, and in the last 4 weeks I put it out here where it gets all day sun, and it's actually doing better than the ones that are in the ground and the other ones that were in the pots that were full of leaf since spring. A little calamansi here, the calamondon. I bought that thinking there was a calamansi. I think it's the calamondon, although the same family. It's not as sour as a calamansi, which is what I wanted. But this one doesn't have as much seeds, which is great, whereas calamansi is very, very seedy. But this one's doing really well as well. And here we go, back to the back garden with all the sunflowers. And amongst that, there are citruses, and of course, oh, here we go. We've got another cucumber ready to harvest. There it is there. You'll see that. More along there. But the citrus itself was not doing too well. But now with the companion planting and the watering and the fertilising, it's come back really well. So once these are removed, I think that the lemon tree will be quite nice here on this side as well. Just doing really well. And then the orange tree amongst that. These ones here get all day sun. They still have a little bit of curl in the leaf. I'm thinking that might be lack of water, but I'm not too sure. Okay, there you have it. Please subscribe, like. If you want to see more developments, please leave a comment so I know there are people out there that actually want to see more, and I'll provide whatever repeat that you want me to go back and have a look at. Just leave in the comments.